Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the 12 best luxury and some non-luxury Australian fashion brands to know about that ship worldwide. Yes, you heard me. We're talking worldwide shipping. Now this video did take a little bit of research and it was basically inspired by the fact that I have had a few people recently, when I share certain items that I'm wearing, tell me that, oh, I really love that dress, I really love that thing. However, they don't ship to the US or they don't ship to the UK. So I did my research for this video and I'm going to be sharing with you 12 designers that aren't Zimmermann. Yes, you heard me right, that are not Zimmermann. So I have 12 designers to share with you, 12 brands. And before we get into this video, even this outfit is very much inspired by Australian fashion brands. This is a local designer called Binny. Don't know if this one, don't think it ships worldwide. But this is Binny if you want to check them out. Very Dolce & Gabbana-esque without the scandals, you feel me? Love a bit of lemon on my chest. Before we get into today's video, if you're interested in learning about discovering some more Australian brands, check out David Jones. I'm going to have everything linked. Everything linked. However, if you are interested in doing some more research after this video, check out a website called David Jones. David Jones is basically our department store in Australia. It's our largest department store and that hosts a lot of Australian brands. Some of them that I'm talking about today and some that maybe you've never heard of, maybe you have heard of. So if you're looking for some more inspiration, feel free to check that out. But without any further rambling, let's get into it. I'm feeling very Aussie. Aussie! Okay, I'm gonna stop now. That's about as Australian as I'm gonna get in today's video. So let's get started. Oh, this makes me proud to be Australian. Okay, we're starting off with number one, which is a brand that maybe some of you have heard of. I'm referring to my list, by the way, because I've got a lot to say. So number one is Dion Lee. You can shop direct from Dion Lee's website. They also are stocked on Net-a-Porter, Farfetch and Revolve. However, the collection is somewhat limited. So if you're looking for the entire collection, check out Dion Lee, the actual website itself. So Dion Lee is a Sydney-based designer and they're most known for kind of their more experimental construction of garments. I'm sure you may have seen the corset tight looking designs that they have currently online, but yeah, a lot more of that kind of experimental construction, something a little bit unique, something a little bit different, and they do combine more that structured tailoring with experimental designs, pushing on like masculinity but also like very sexy. Okay, so number two, I don't know how to say this. You think I would because I'm Australian, but I don't. AJE, it's AG? No idea, but they stock on Matches and Farfetch. I will also have the home website listed in the description as well, but it's more of like a contemporary Australian brand, and I have seen more international influencers talk about this brand lately. They do have a little bit of everything. I noticed lately they've come out with a lot of like feminine puffy type sleeved dresses, which a lot of influencers more internationally I have seen wear. They kind of give off a very much like a feminine, almost like effortlessly cool vibe. Like if you scroll through, you'll see like very pretty feminine girly designs, but then a little bit more like cooler designs and more cooler pieces of clothing. Number three, Shona Joy. This is a brand that I own and have talked about and wear, and I've told you about like, I've lost count at this point. They do have the US site, so I'm gonna have that linked, and they're also available on Revolve. I personally love Shona Joy because I feel that it very much embodies my summer style. Obviously they have clothes for all seasons, Australian seasons anyway. Like maybe if you live in New York, you might not find the clothes warm enough for you in the winter, but I find that they have beautiful pieces that could actually be used as bridesmaids dresses. They have beautiful like wedding dress, bridesmaids type dresses. I personally love to go to them more for my summer and spring wardrobe. What I really like about them is I find that the neutral color palette that they use, like they tend to stick with the same colors. They'll you know, dabble in patterns and whatnot, but they're more so like those earthy tones, and I find that most of the items I can wear with flats or with heels. Like they can be dressed up or dressed down. A brand like Shona Joy is what I think of when I think of like what I like to think of Australia as being. Like really like summery, warm, beachy, like strolling up and down Bondi. Very, very relaxed pieces, but again, like they can be worn with heels. Number four, Alice McCall. This is a brand you may have heard of. They do have a US website. They're also available on Revolve and Farfetch. And I'm telling you this because I don't know about you, but sometimes I prefer, if I'm trying a brand for the first time, I prefer to shop through Farfetch, or not sponsored, I wish, or shop through Revolve, just because I prefer their returns policy. And sometimes if you're shopping with a brand, like through a brand's main website, sometimes the shipping can get you, sometimes the return costs can get you. So if you're trying any of these brands for the first time, look for a website that does offer usually free returns, because you just never know. You don't know how it's going to fit. It might not be for you, and you might realize that when you get home. But like I said, number 4, Alice McCall. I have owned a few Alice McCall pieces. I think I have like a camisole from them. I had a beautiful, beautiful dress that I ended up selling. I kind of regret it, but I have dabbled in Alice McCall in the past. I think the only way that I can really describe Alice McCall is the pieces that I've owned and the things that I'm used to. It's just, it's very, very feminine, very girly, feminine, soft pieces. It's very like bohemian, but like also weirdly, like some of the things I've seen them come out with, they have like a little bit of structure in some of their most recent designs, and it's almost like giving me 60s vibes. I don't know if I'm hitting the mark there. Okay, so number 5 is Peony. I think I'm saying that correctly. I have a swimwear by this brand, and they mainly specialize in swimwear and like resort wear. So it's kind of Zimmermann-esque, but like not really. Again, you have to check the website out, check out the designs, and check out the pieces to understand what I'm saying. They're stocked on Net-a-Porter, Harrods, Selfridges, Browns, and I think that's the main lot if you're not going to go ahead and buy from the actual home website store. To me, this brand is a brand that I think of when I think of like the start of summer, being at the beach, like sun-kissed skin, very like feminine, girly, fun patterns, the swimwear, resort wear. I just love this vibe. Like to me, it's very much reminiscent of like Bondi Beach or like coastal, cute little by the seaside type of locations in Australia. It's very much like that vibe. Number 6, switching gears a little bit, we're going to be talking about Oroton. Now, Oroton is a brand that actually I own nothing from, and I do see them quite a lot in David Jones. And literally, like, Oroton to me is the epitome of a Melbourne influencer, like a Melbourne Instagrammer. Every time I think of Oroton, I weirdly think of like the Melbourne CBD. I don't know why. It's a different vibe to one that I usually opt for. More when I think of Oroton, I more so think of their bags, but they also do make clothes. I think of more that like modern, neutral kind of aesthetic. I think of like very relaxed, also very practical, neutral, like basic pieces. And it's funny that I think of them that way, because they do dabble in prints and they dabble in color, but whenever I think of Oroton, I always just think of like creams, browns, and black. Like I think of very like basic, neutral kind of dressing is what I imagine when I think of Oroton. Anyway, check them out if you think that might be your vibe. They do have an Oroton website. They also are available on Net-a-Porter if you want to have a look at them there, but like limited stock, I think. Number 7, next up is Scanlan Theodore, and this is a brand that I've heard about and I've known about for years, but I've just never really, up until last year, I'd never really went ahead and bought anything from them. And you may know I have that really beautiful yellow maxi dress from them. Scanlan Theodore, again, has a website that you can shop from directly from their website. They have a kind of a bit of a mix of everything. Like that dress is very very fun, very playful, very beautiful in my mind. They do have like very special occasion type outfits, I think, but then they also have a little bit of everything. Like it's very much like modern elegance, femininity, kind of something, like a little bit of everything, I think, for everyone. Like when I went in the shop for the first time, I remember seeing a little bit of everything. I didn't notice like one specific aesthetic. I kind of just saw a little bit of everything, so to speak. It's hard for me to explain. I'm not very good at articulating myself when it comes to these types of things, but again, check the website out if it's something that you might be interested. That yellow dress, like, again, when I went in there, that was probably the only thing that I really liked from there. A lot of the other things, like I did try on a few other things, nothing really jumped out at me. They interject like some fun pieces like that yellow dress, but it's also like, you know, modern elegance, like good quality pieces, like maybe pieces for a good night out, but then also like fun pieces. It's kind of hard for me to explain. Check out the website though if you're interested. Next up, number 8 is Posse. I think it's pronounced Posse. They do have international shipping, and I find the pieces on there are very like simple, timeless. Like these are pieces that if you were to buy them, they could most likely work in your wardrobe for years and years to come. And they also have like a bit of a vintage vibe. Like some of their designs do give off like a bit of a vintage vibe. It almost, you could almost wonder if you bought it, you know, recently, or if you bought it like, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. A lot of the patterns can be quite fun as well, but they also do work with neutral colors and neutral color palettes. But yeah, again, the patterns are really like fun, vintagey, and it's just very much like what I love and what I think about when I think of Australian fashion. this is also kind of the vibe, along with like Peony and Zimmermann and Trina Joy, but like a very effortlessly cool, chic Australian fashion influencer. This is the vibe. Number 9, a little bit of a wild card, but I thought I'd throw it in because I have been on and off shopping with this brand since I was maybe like 18, and that is Lioness. Not at all a luxury brand. They have very, very, very affordable pieces. When you look on the website, like some of the items, like some of the things look a bit young, but just check it out. You might find something you like. Again, more on the affordable side. When I think of Lioness, I think of more like trendy, hot pieces that are more affordable. They were more like my clubbing outfits. Like if I was going clubbing or if I was going out bar hopping in my early 20s and I didn't want to wear anything like too nice, obviously I wanted it to be good quality, but I also didn't want something really expensive to be ruined. I tended to go to Lioness. They had like really nice, like relatively good quality for the price, but also like really trendy items. Okay, so number 10. For the life of me, I do not know how to pronounce this brand, but here we go. Alemus. Sorry. This particular one is stocked on Matches Fashion. So if you want to have a look there, they do have like a, you know, semi-good selection. And to me, this is very like Zimmermann-esque. To me, it's kind of like what I wish Zimmermann could be sometimes. It's very fun patterns, very like beachside, summery, coastal, Bondi, Sydney. I don't get Melbourne vibes. I get more like Sydney, like coastal, like maybe Noosa, Byron Bay-esque, like fun patterns, very like relaxed, casual, by the beach type of vibes. Okay, so 2 more to go. Number 11 is Bunker. Now, I'm not really going to go into too much detail with Bunker. It's one of those websites that I just need you to check out. Let me pull up the website. It's called the Fashion Bunker. So they have 5 brands in one. They have Cameo Collective, they have Keepsake, they have the Wolfgang, they have the Fifth, and they have Finders Keepers. They all kind of are a little bit different. If you're gonna check out one website, I'd say check out them because like they have such a large variety of different items and from all those 5 brands. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I just need you guys to check out because like I said, 5 different brands all within the Fashion Bunker. That is the Bunker website. But last up, number 12. This one like maybe doesn't count as Australian, but I'm counting it as Australian and I'm going to explain to you why. So Faithful, the brand. They are stocked on Revolve. So if you're interested, check out Revolve. But the reason I'm kind of calling them they're not Australian, they're actually founded in Indonesia. So one of the designers, one of the founders is Australian. And if you know Australia, if you know, I feel like I'm probably one of the only Australians that have not yet been to Bali. Australians, for the most part, frequent Bali very often. Let me know, like drop a comment. If you're Australian, have you been to Bali? I personally haven't. It's now on my list because I think I used to think that Bali was almost like very bogan and like not Bali itself, but I always kind of thought that I always thought that like a lot of bogan Australians went to Bali, and they do, but what I've learned is there are certain places that you can go in Bali and not be surrounded by bogan Australians, so I'll leave that as it is. It is very beautiful, very feminine, some floral touches. It is very girly, almost like a little bit Zimmermann-esque, not really, but yeah, check them out because if you are on the other side of the world and aren't familiar with the strong tie that Australians have to Bali, this is a brand that you should check out because very holiday-esque, very, again, beachside. A lot of the brands that I pretty much shared, I think, were more like summery, beachside vibes, but that's just because that's kind of more my aesthetic and that is what Australian fashion is to me. Again, though, I shared like brands like Oroton and things like that, and that is very much like Melbourne CBD. I'm living more by the coast and I do spend a lot of time by the beach, so that is kind of a lot of the brands that I had to share today. That maybe if you're looking for something a little bit different, if you are on the other side of the world, or even if you're Australian and you've never heard of these brands, let me know. But if you're looking for brands that kind of are offering a little something different, you know, like you wanna maybe wear some things that are a little bit different from people that are around you or in your country. So let me know what you think of these brands that I shared today. Let me know if any of them are interesting to you, any like you might be willing to shop with. And if you are Australian, even if you're not, share with me any brands that you might recommend and any Australian brands that you love. Share those in the comments down below. I'm gonna have another one linked to you right here. If you haven't had enough of me just yet, feel free to join me over there. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you in my next one.